Hello, people. I've just finished watching some of the protesters in London that took the time and effort and probably spending the money they never had to go to Hyde Park and protest against how we're being enslaved with this virus and just about everything else that's going on in the world. I think one of the things I've noticed, I've been campaigning against this now for 12 years. I started off with chemtrails and then worked my way around to Agenda 21, the New World Order, and all the rest of it. And one of the things that I've found out, one of the things that I've realised is that countries like America, England, France, what I've realised is that this has been, it's like we've been, it's like a really fancy prison that's been created for us. It's complicated. I don't know how to explain, but it's like for a very, very long time, this New World Order and the powers that be behind it have been engineering this. They have engineered it so England is England. They've engineered it so America is America. It's like a really, really comfortable prison. It's so comfortable that we didn't even know that we were in a prison. And we stared out at the rest of the world in the third world countries, countries like Africa, and the famines in 1980s. I just find it weird, like in the 1930s and 1940s, children starved to death on the streets of Europe. Now I live in the UK, and that would, now that would never happen. We hope it wouldn't. It's just that I'm finding how we have been manipulated and engineered to think that we're living in a country which is free, i.e., England, America, when really all these, this manipulation, this power behind everything, has engineered all of this in a way so they can use us. I keep getting this, that's the thing, Jim Carrey, that film that he was in where he was fooled into thinking that he was living, some sort of natural life, but he wasn't. He was just in an enormous film theatre, and everybody was following him. Okay, that's on the tip of my tongue. The film I'm on about with Jim Carrey's got quite a famous film. But using that as a metaphor, I feel that that's what what they've been doing to parts of the world like England and America and France. It's all been carefully manipulated to make us think that we're free, that we're living in a country that's not a dictatorship or etc. etc. I suppose the reason why I'm doing this video is because I think in order to see what's really going on, you've got to pull down, the drapes, and keep pulling down the drapes till you get to the truth. The horrible truth is that the whole world has been a prison for a long time now. And it's been carefully engineered and manipulated to be like this. It's really strange because, like I said, I've been campaigning for 12 years against chemtrails, and when I started going down that rabbit hole, I started seeing the real truth, the real manipulation, the real evil behind the evil. And the thing is that part of me wants to say what I know, but another part of me, I don't know. It's strange. I don't really understand why I feel this way. Um, but there are a race of beings called reptilians and another race of beings called Aryan Nordics, that have manipulated and controlled the human race for a long time now, whilst they've got on with their own show, Um, and I see in this so-called, I don't know, sea of freedom, still these reptilians and these Aryans manipulating the human race. So I just want to put that point across that, if we are going to fight for freedom, true freedom, world freedom, universal freedom, cosmic freedom, you know, um, how's this going to happen when there are so many of these reptilian beings and so many of these Aryan beings in between all of this, manipulating the tide, coming backwards and forwards, I keep trying to study the fact that, are there, I mean, I can understand why Christ didn't go on about these beings, these reptilians, these Aryans. And I realised that he did, and he did all the time, because the full name for a reptilian is Reptilian Demon. The Aryan Nordics are the same. It's all also, the foundations of what a shapeshifter, a different kind of being is what these beings are. And they're everywhere, people. Do you really think Boris Johnson is human? Do you really think President Trump is human? Do you really think the leaders of this world are human? And I'll tell you, one good reason. We have over unity. Okay, we also have, we have a way of making almost free energy, and over unity is almost free energy. Over unity is putting 30% in and getting 70% out. Why isn't there one country in the world using free energy? Why aren't we going into space? We don't need a rocket to go into space. We never needed a rocket to go into space, ever. Space is a big part of our freedom, people. Where is all this going, I am a Christian. I believe in Christ. I believe in God's Son. I believe he was born to save humanity. I also believe in a lot of things that he said in the Bible, like the meek shall inherit the earth, right? Not a radioactive burnt cinder, not a prison camp. I've also heard things in the Bible, or read things in the Bible, and seen things on on the internet and stuff, saying that Christ will return in this big fluffy white clouds, surrounded by the good angels of heaven and stuff, and descend upon earth and save mankind. And I've heard other things which I prefer to believe, that Christ has quoted to saying, I shall return like a thief in the night. Why are those two comparisons? Why do they exist? And I've started realizing that the Bible has been manipulated a lot more than I thought it has. Apparently, before the Bible got to the Romans, I think it was some emperor or empress, I'm not sure, took reincarnation out of the Bible. Reincarnation was in the Bible one time, people. I believe in reincarnation. I've skimmed across Buddhism. I was kind of a Buddhist, just studied the faith and tried to keep to the faith of Buddhism. It was my first understanding in life to, perhaps what things are really like. I went through a bit of a spiritual experience as well with mandalas and stuff, but, and then I've kind of led myself to the, the understanding of Christ and the reason why Christ was, born, and the whole thing, of Christianity, and the one real true way of seeing and feeling the universe was through Christ. Um, I, so anyway, the meek shall inherit the earth, not a radioactive burnt crisp. Christ shall return like a thief in the night. And it was, it was said in the Bible that things will be getting like it was in the time of Noah, pretty desperate before the flood. I also know that we are in our ascension. Mankind is in our ascension, and these reptilian beings are doing everything to try and stop this. And I know it's got something to do with equatorial mass. Our solar system lines up with the centre of our galaxy every 360,000 years. And all that energy coming from the centre of our galaxy is regenerating, rejuvenating everything. And I think it's also making everything expose itself to its true nature, which is why these reptilian demon beings are wearing hoods all the time, putting their hands in their pockets, and because I believe that the center of our universe is it is our creator, and we're not God, but the center of our galaxy rather is where this universe was created. And we've lined up with the center of it, and you can't get away from it saying that this is what you are. This is it now. And plus we have, of course, planet Nibiru, planet X. And I've said this in my other videos, and I've said, if this isn't ushering in the return of Christ, then and I think it is. I think it's finally happening, people. France kicking off, Hong Kong kicking. It's just quite obvious that the rest of the free-thinking world has had enough. We've had enough. I mean, the New World Order, Agenda 21, is obvious that these reptilian demons are behind it. And I believe this. I know for a fact, I've done my homework. The Second World War was about supremacy over reptilians and Aryans. Or are they in this together? Was the Second World War just to get the human numbers down? Because a lot of research I've been doing with the reptilians and the Aryans is getting the human numbers down. It's just so much I'm finding out now, people. It just frightens me to death. And I see people, if that's what they are, a lot of, skimming across the top of this, just waking up to what's really going on, but not really understanding the whole, logistics of what's really been going on. And it just, I believe our perfect bodies are forming. I believe our ascension has begun. And I think that, I'm trying to work out what, obviously the one being, if you want to call him that, behind all this, Lucifer, Satan, the fallen angels, I believe that they are trying to stop our ascension, wait for equatorial mass to pass, so we cannot achieve our ascension. If they continue to spray us with the stuff that they're spraying us with, hydrochloride, alum oxide, microwaves, the diseases and fluoride in the water, and God knows the multitude of other things that they've been doing to the human race to stop us from advancing and achieving our ascension. What else can he do except bide his time, try and stop mankind from achieving our ascension, attaining our perfect bodies, flying out through the universe and being perfect and spreading the world and making other worlds out there and living, because if we're going to be that cool, we're going to be like Superman, aren't we? We're going to need a galaxy to ourselves. And I believe there are about 20 trillion galaxies out there, So we'll have a whole galaxy to ourselves. It's going to be brilliant, people. Mother Earth, she needs a break from us. Okay? I've done my research, right? How are we going to get to these far off galaxies around the universe? Yeah, we have these things called stargates or X points, and they've been proven to exist. There's something to do with the electromagnetic field of our sun, which is one of a kind, and the electromagnetic field of our Earth, which is one of a kind. There is, the Earth is the center of the universe because Christ was born here, God's Son. The sun and the earth are so important, people. I have a feeling that's got something to do with all these, these aliens and stuff needing to be here. But yes, I believe that these X points are, they start with these electromagnetic fields, and I believe there's some sort of reflex between the sun, the earth, and when this happens, it just sort of like connects with the universe for a few minutes. And I believe that's the portal, those are the wormholes, those are the things where stargates, whatever you want to call them, to get to those other parts of the universe and start colonizing that part, taking Mother Earth, taking the spirit of Earth, taking animals, the birds, the bees, and with us, and the universe spreading out and becoming one whole Earth, I believe something like that's happening, gonna happen, people, Um, when I say that the Earth is the center of the universe, I believe that it is. I believe that this is the most important place in the universe. That's how, if you knew how big the universe was, you just wouldn't, it's just phenomenal. And this thing about multiverses, and there's like loads of you out there in the multiverses, this is New World Order deception to make you think that you're not as important as you think you are. There is only one of you, and there is only one of me. If there was another one of me and a multitude of multiverses, then hey, it doesn't matter, if I die or this universe dies, because that, I'm sorry, it's not real. There is only one Christ and only one universe. And this New World Order, these, these beings, these reptilian Aryans and all the, the Aryans, and, it's coming to an end. Anyway, I just wanted to get a few thoughts out there, people, sorry if I'm not, Be strong, yeah? Stay safe. Cheers. Keep fighting.